Australia, a land of opportunity, innovation, and cultural diversity. But did you know that behind its booming cities and quiet regional towns, a quiet revolution is unfolding? One that's reshaping schools, hospitals, workplaces, and even the food on your plate? In 2025, Australia's population is growing faster than ever, and a major force behind this surge? Migration. But not just any migration. We're seeing specific communities growing at lightning speed, driven by skills, education, and global shifts. So whether you're dreaming of moving to Australia, already calling it home, or just fascinated by global trends, today, we're counting down the top 7 fastest-growing migrant communities in Australia for 2025. This isn't just about numbers, it's about people, ambition, and the future of a nation. Let's dive in, and trust me, number 1 might not surprise you, but what's behind their growth just might. Coming in at number 7, Bangladesh. Now, you might not hear about it as much in the headlines, but don't let the quiet growth fool you. Bangladesh is emerging as one of the fastest-growing sources of migrants to Australia, and it's happening under the radar. Why? 2 words: skilled professionals and regional settlement. More and more Bangladeshi graduates, especially in engineering, IT, and accounting, are securing skilled visas and choosing to settle in regional Australia. Towns in Queensland, South Australia, and Tasmania are seeing new Bangladeshi-run cafes, tutoring centers, and tech startups. And here's the kicker. Many are coming through the 491 Skilled Work Regional Visa, filling critical labor shortages in areas where locals are scarce. Plus, Australian universities are reporting a sharp rise in Bangladeshi students, particularly in business and IT programs. So while Bangladesh may not have the diaspora size of India or China yet, its trajectory, straight up, and with stronger education partnerships and Australia's push for regional migration, don't be surprised if this community becomes a major player in the next decade. At number 6, Indonesia. And trust me, this one's big. Indonesia isn't just Australia's neighbor, it's becoming one of its most promising migration partners. With the largest population in Southeast Asia, and over 60% under the age of 35, Indonesia is a goldmine of young, ambitious talent, and Australia is paying attention. More Indonesian students are enrolling in Australian universities than ever before, especially in education, IT, and environmental science. Many are staying post-graduation, transitioning to skilled visas. But it's not just students. Australia's tech sector is quietly tapping into Indonesian software developers and digital marketers, many of whom are bilingual and culturally adaptable. And let's not forget the comprehensive economic partnership agreement between Australia and Indonesia. This deal is opening doors for skilled professionals, entrepreneurs, and even vocational workers. So while Indonesia isn't topping the charts yet, its growth curve is steeper than almost any other nation. If current trends continue, Indonesia could be a top 3 source of migration by 2030. Number 5, Vietnam. A community with deep roots in Australia, but now experiencing a new wave of growth. Vietnamese Australians have been part of the national fabric since the 1970s. But today's migration story is different. It's not just about family reunions or humanitarian entries anymore. It's about skills, education, and entrepreneurship. Vietnamese students are flooding into Australian vocational colleges, TAFEs, and private RTOS to study trades like plumbing, electrical work, and hospitality. Why? Because these pathways lead directly to in-demand occupations on Australia's skilled occupation list. And once they graduate, many stay, opening Pioto restaurants, nail salons, and even tech startups. But it's not just blue-collar jobs. Vietnamese IT professionals, nurses, and accountants are also on the rise, particularly in regional hubs like Geelong, Newcastle, and Bunbury. And with Vietnam's strong focus on education and English learning, the pipeline of skilled migrants is only getting stronger. This isn't just growth. It's a renaissance of a proud community, building the future, one trade certificate at a time. Now we hit the top 4. And this one? It's critical to Australia's survival. The Philippines, home to some of the world's most skilled healthcare workers, is now one of Australia's most vital migration partners. Why? Because Australia is facing a healthcare crisis. Aging population, staff shortages, overworked nurses, and the demand for aged care workers? It's exploding. Enter Filipino professionals. With world-class nursing training, strong English skills, and a deep cultural emphasis on caregiving, Filipino migrants are stepping into roles that others simply can't or won't fill. In 2025, over 30% of new aged care visas are going to Filipino applicants. And that's not counting nurses in hospitals, midwives, and medical lab technicians. But it's not just healthcare. Teachers, engineers, and IT specialists from the Philippines are also making their mark, especially in regional areas. And here's something powerful. Many Filipino migrants come with family in tow, creating tight-knit communities that support each other through the visa process. This isn't just migration. It's a lifeline for Australia's health system and for thousands of families building new lives. At number 3, China. Now, you might be thinking, wait, isn't China's growth slowing? And yes, post-pandemic, Chinese student numbers dipped. Geopolitical tensions, travel restrictions, and shifting preferences sent shockwaves through Australia's education sector. But make no mistake, China is still a powerhouse. In 2025, Chinese students are returning. Not in the same numbers as 2019, but smarter, more strategic. They're targeting regional universities where tuition is lower and post-study work rights are longer. And they're focusing on STEM, business, and healthcare, fields with strong job prospects. But here's what's new. Business and investment migration is surging. Wealthy Chinese entrepreneurs are investing in Australian startups, agribusiness, and renewable energy, often through the Significant Investor Visa or Premium Investor Visa. And let's not forget family migration. Many Chinese Australians are sponsoring parents and relatives, creating multi-generational households in suburbs like Box Hill, Eastwood, and Hurstville. So while the headlines say, slow down, the reality is more nuanced. China isn't fading, it's evolving. And its influence on Australia's economy, culture, and skyline? Still massive. Second place, Nepal. And this one, it's a phenomenon. In just 5 years, Nepali migration to Australia has skyrocketed. And the engine behind it? International students. Thousands of young Nepalis are leaving Kathmandu, Pokhara, and Biratnagar every year. Not just for education, but for a future. They're enrolling in diplomas, bachelor's degrees, and master's programs, especially in IT, nursing, and business. And here's the smart part. Many are choosing regional universities, like those in Ballarat, Wagga Wagga, or Townsville, to qualify for the 491 regional visa. This visa is a game changer. It offers a pathway to permanent residency with lower competition and government incentives. Once they graduate, many Nepalis stay, working in aged care, hospitality, or as software developers. And get this, Nepal is now among the top 5 sources of international students in Australia, ahead of traditional players like Brazil or Thailand. But it's not just about visas, it's about ambition. These aren't just students, they're future citizens, entrepreneurs, and community leaders. And with strong cultural ties and growing Nepali associations across Australia, this community is building something lasting. And now, the #1 fastest growing migrant community in Australia in 2025, India. No surprise? Maybe. But the scale of India's dominance? That's staggering. In 2025, India is the single largest source of both skilled migrants and international students in Australia. We're talking tens of thousands every year. Indian professionals are dominating fields like information technology, engineering, healthcare, and accounting. In fact, in cities like Sydney and Melbourne, over 40% of new IT hires are Indian migrants. And students? India has overtaken China as the #1 source of international students, with over 150,000 enrolled in Australian institutions. Why? Strong education ties, English proficiency, and a booming middle class willing to invest in global opportunities. But it's not just about numbers, it's about integration. India's diaspora in Australia is now over 800,000 strong, with vibrant communities in suburbs like Epping, Clayton, and Parramatta. They're opening businesses, launching startups, and even entering politics. And with the Australia-India Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement, ECTA, boosting bilateral ties, the pipeline is only getting wider. From skilled visas to family reunions, from PhD researchers to restaurant owners, India isn't just growing, it's shaping Australia's future. So yes, India is number one. But more than that, it's becoming a cornerstone of modern Australia. Communities like Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and Myanmar are also growing through humanitarian programs, skilled migration, and family visas. Australia's migrant landscape is no longer just British, Chinese, or Indian. It's Nepali nurses, Bangladeshi engineers, Filipino caregivers, Indonesian coders. This diversity isn't just changing demographics, it's fueling innovation, filling labor gaps, and enriching Australian culture. And if you think this is fast, just wait for 2030. So, what did you think? Did any of these communities surprise you? Are you part of one of these groups? Or planning to migrate from one of these countries? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. It helps more people discover it.